Four of them. They only punted one time in the first half, but they only got 3 points. There was a clip on number 53, John Flannery, who was leading Daryl Johnson on the double screen. Made good yards, but
they have clipping on the offense. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
And really, Bo Orlando turns his back on him right there. Turns his back to the blocker and almost forces the clip. I don't know if he did it on purpose. It just worked out that way, but he really turned to him because you don't want to turn that way to come back to make the tackle.
First down now and 20. Inside the 10-yard line for Syracuse. To the fullback, Johnston crashing out across the 30-yard line. 3 different players finally bring him down after 23 yards on the run. Alvoid Mays instrumental in the tackle.
Well, you saw it took him a long time to get the snap. He was audibling. They come out the dime defense with very few linebackers. Only 4 linemen in the game. They just hand it to the fullback up the middle. We've seen him defeat their dime every time they come in with the running play. Watch, Herring's the only linebacker in the game. And watch him come through right here. Does a good job getting through the line of scrimmage. Comes from the side. Misses a couple defensive backs. Big, strong fullback.
And now with some better operating room, the Orange can go to work. With 10:45 left in the third quarter, trailing 14-3. On the pitch, Drummond stops. Finally driven out of bounds at about the 41-yard line by Bo Orlando.
The sidelight to this whole option running game is the downfield blocking. Both teams have tight ends that get downfield and block well. They have wide receivers that block well. That time it was Devon Glover who blocked the defensive back on that side, Alvoid Mays, that opened up the field for the running back to get the 7 yards that he got.
Devon Glover and Pat Davis split out wide to the left. The bottom of the screen, it's number 14, Ralph Moore. Not caught a pass yet thus far. The leading receiver for Syracuse coming into this one. Hand off to the deep back, Drummond. He is swarmed under at about the 40-yard line. The man initiating the charge, Chris Parker, and also Mike Fox.
Good penetration by the defensive line. You watch it, they get into the backfield on that quick trap, that quick counter. See number 98, Jim Gray, the middle guard, really got the penetration, got a hand on Drummond, slowed him up to the pursuit. Penetration kills, especially counter plays, then. Excuse me.
Big third down play now for Syracuse. Bill Cox with a quick out, and Moore brings this one in. Alvoid Mays wraps him up across the 45, but it's enough for the first down. And let's now head down to the sidelines to John Snyder and then chat about a fantasy cheerleader.
Denny, you know, you've heard of Queen for a day. This is cheerleader for a day. Sheila Lambert, who is not a student here at West Virginia. Why are you here?
I entered a contest for the sports fantasy, and I asked to be a cheerleader for West Virginia University to cheer with my old cheerleading sponsor for her, Bobby Mormon.
And this is your fantasy. Now, I've watched you tonight, and it's not really a great night out. It's kind of miserable, but you're having the time of your life.
Look at this. I'm loving it. Yeah, it's great fun. The West Virginia University cheerleaders are great. Everybody down here is great. We're winning.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, I don't blame her if she cheers on that play because it was a terrific defensive play, sacked at about the 45. The big question is, will they be taking her to Tempe, Arizona?
That would be the ultimate fantasy for everybody in West Virginia to go to the Fiesta Bowl and play Notre Dame for the national championship. Again, penetration. Chris Parker, that time coming free on a line stunt, completely fouls up the timing of the option play. It's a counter option. The quarterback's delaying a count, and when he delayed, number 94, Chris Parker, was all over and draped on his back.
Loss of 3, second down and 13, facing Todd Philcox, senior out of Norwalk, Connecticut.
Good drawing screen down.
Straight drop, looks upfield, makes the throw, and it's picked off. Uh-oh. This is all the way down the sidelines for Willie Edwards.
should have thrown the screen. He's looking for Daryl Johnson out of the backfield again. That's twice. They know they like to go to him. Twice they've intercepted balls thrown his direction. This time a good break on the ball by Willie Edwards. And this time down the sidelines for 6.
The big defensive play provided by the senior out of Morgantown, West Virginia in his own backyard. And the Ears now pinning them back. It's 21-3 West Virginia.
With the score still 21-3 in favor of West Virginia, we pick up the action with just under a minute to go in the third quarter. Syracuse has the ball on their own 31, first down and 10 after a missed Mountaineer field goal.
The Orangemen need something to happen here in a big hurry. Oh boy, Sherman really nailed by Alboyd Mays as he crosses the 30-yard line. Mountaineers just flying to the football now.
And they are winning this game on defense. I mean, we come in here with one of the most high-powered offenses in the country, ranked 2nd in points at 44 points a game, ranked 6th in total yardage per game. Yet their defense is winning this football game, and that's not surprising because defense usually wins big football games.
On the season, that defense giving up less than 17 points a game. Davis in motion. Shar back to throw. Has time. Hits Johnston out of the backfield, and then he is hit hard there by Preston Waters. As quarter number 3 here at Mountaineer Field comes to a close. And better than 65,000 now have just 15 more minutes to wait for an undefeated season. It's West Virginia 21 and Syracuse 3. Not since 1922 has West Virginia gone undefeated, and they were 10-0-1. They had a tie. They've never had a regular season undefeated, 11 wins. 15 minutes left here at Mountaineer Field, separating this year's 88 edition from the rest of the 96 others. Third down and 4. Davis in slow motion. In the flat, it's Johnston. He's the man they always go to in the clutch, and he's got enough for the first down.
But it looks like we may have a penalty flag in the holding area against Syracuse as they continue. There it is to self-destruct. If it's not turnovers, it's penalties on key third down plays.
McPherson lamenting.
This is a hard-fought football game. There's a lot of hitting going on, a lot of good football playing going on. It's just the turnovers have been the difference in the football game, and now it's starting to be a change of determination because it's really going everything for West Virginia, and Syracuse is starting to really lose its edge. Take a look at that, Denny. Misery index, 5 turnovers. They haven't allowed a sack, but when you have 5 turnovers, sacks are unimportant. Drop passes 2, 7 penalties for 40 yards. So your turnovers and penalties, that's the difference in this football game.
Third down and 14, but the Oranges have any hope of pulling out this one late. They're going to have to get something started right here. Looked like the receiver moved upfield. Sacked is Shar, and the penalty flags flew.
And now you can add 1 sack to the misery index.
Yeah,
now they're going to have to punt from their own 5-yard line, which means West Virginia's going to get great field position and a chance to close it out.
Illegal motion on the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
See what the score is right now, Denny, 21-3. Well, 14 directly from turnovers, plus Syracuse lost 7 when they fumbled inside the 5. So that's 21 points on turnovers almost directly.
Syracuse will have to punt it away. Number 1, Brandis Bell stands back at about his 40-yard line. Excellent kick. High hanger. Bell takes the fair catch right at the 40-yard line. 46-yard punt with 14:03 left in this one. It's 21-3. West Virginia looking for an 11-0 record. break the huddle. First down and 10. They own the football and a 21-3 lead. This time it's Aaron Evans, the second-string fullback, for a couple of yards. Now let's head down to John Snyder. It's been a long time since they've gone undefeated, John.
Indeed it has, Denny. With me is Steve Thomas, a longtime West Virginia fan, and a lot of other West Virginia fans back here. People in this state have waited many, many years for something like this, haven't they?
Exactly. About 90-some years, exactly.
How you feel about it? I know you've been coming to games since the mid-50s. This means no.
Well, we lost the microphone. We'll check back in with John here in a moment. Slipping to the turf. Incomplete pass. Andrew Johnson, the intended receiver, will bring up now 3rd down and 8.
We told you the weather was going to affect this game.
Well, you could say that some of these fans are so excited they're speechless.
That's right. Fantasy cheerleader. It's quite a fantasy for, again, for everybody in this stadium, for Don Nehlen, for West Virginia football. Again, this is the whole state rallies around. They have no pro teams. This is their major college. This is their pro team.
Harris with a straight drop. Oh, has a man wide open. And it's the backup tight end, Adrian Moss. You know, it's funny. We talked to Don Nehlen before this game yesterday, and we asked him, Don, 9 years ago when you came here, did you think that you could contend for a national championship and go undefeated? He said, are you kidding? We just try to find some football players who could be competitive.
That's all they wanted to do was to compete, and you look at the progress he's made over his career here. Now he's got this school vying for a national championship. Look at those yardage in the second half. They're just wearing down Syracuse.
Andrew Johnson has his feet clipped right out from underneath him by number 55, Dan Busey. And with 12:56 and the clock rolling, West Virginia is in good shape. And we've got some updated scores. Something for a tie out there, huh? Oregon State 21-10. Big game of the day, though, USC with a victory over UCLA. Tailback. This time it's Andrew Johnson across the 40, down near about the 36-yard line. Busey again in on the tackle, and he's been a busy backer here this evening.
I tell you, this is bring back too many memories of games where you're behind. You just keep getting knocked backward and getting knocked backward, and you hit the man. He drags you for 3 or 4 yards. It's a whole momentum shift that just demoralizes you on defense. You cannot pick yourself back up. If you don't make a big play now defensively, the game's going to be over.
Hand off one more time, and it's just straight ahead, tailback oriented football. Busey again. I hate to sound redundant, but he's in on the tackle one more time, along with Bavaro as well.
And you're saying to yourself in the huddle, what can I do to turn this game around? What can we do defensively to change it? And you keep looking at each other, and the answer basically is nothing.
Well, again, the point that we've made on a number of occasions, the defense has played, I think, very well here this evening for Syracuse. The offense turned it over a few times in tough field position. That's been the difference, converting 2 turnovers into 14 points. Fullback Aaron Evans crashes over the left side for about 3 or 4 yards.
You don't want West Virginia to get ahead because they just keep pounding you and pounding you and pounding you. And all of a sudden, if you don't have anything to get excited for, it's tough to keep taking that pounding and come back for the next play.
Now the one question that I want to ask is, does Bino Cook have an 800 number back in Connecticut so that he can start to receive some of the phone calls from the fans here in West Virginia?
Well, Dick McPherson's not going to call him, I'll tell you that.
11:05 and the clock is rolling. Harris looking for more. Grandis Bell, a juke step at the 20 and chased out of bounds. Oh, they're going to say that he's out at about the 16, and Grandis Bell out of the Fort Lauderdale area nearly took that one the distance.
As far as everything he's done tonight, now watch him zip the ball all the way across field. This only goes downfield about 10 yards, but it's about a 30-yard throw on the line to Grandis Bell. Now watch him fake out number 24, Chris Ingram. Hey, use the sideline, my friend. That's a help to you. Don't let him go down the sideline. Grandis Bell, 150 pounds, but that's how you survive when you're 150 pounds.